And yeah, there is GGplay transferring his drones. one hit on that vulture takes that down. You see GGplay is going to get the scout with the Scourge. So that's going to be very valuable for him to especially spot all those proxy buildings in the middle if he hasn't seen them already, although I think he probably has by now. Fantasy is building a whole lot in the middle. It's a very risky play. I don't think he really needed to do anything like that. This is not a Zerg favored map after all. But now Fantasy is moving out. He's trying to break through all these eggs with Goliath, not the strongest units in the world. So it's probably going to take him a while. And you see GGplay trying to pick off Goliath as they pop out of those factories. Very smart decision because they're going to be stranded as soon as they come out. That will force Fantasy to bring his Goliath back and stop him from attacking those eggs, but he is making a very big hole in these eggs right now. He's already taken out 2 and he's going to get a 3rd right here. GGplay's got to put the pressure on and stall for time, I think. You see, he is doing a great job picking off these Goliaths as they pop out of the factories, making Fantasy waste a lot there. Forcing Fantasy to fall back too and stop focusing on the eggs. You see, Fantasy is devoting a small troop to protecting the factories now, so it's going to take that much longer for him to move out. Fantasy is using that engineering bay to scout for the Mutalisk now. Now I'm wondering what GGplay is up to, because he's still only at 2 bases. He could be going for Lurker Tech or something like that. Maybe building up a large Zergling force to take care of these Goliaths, and those Goliaths are upgraded. Going to be able to force those Mutalisks to back off from the factories now. And just about through, I'd say one more egg and he'll be able to move out with his Goliath force. See, GGplay is getting some Zerglings out, going to be able to deal with Goliaths. Goliaths aren't very good against Zerglings at all. Now a lot of Mutalisks out too. So some kind of double attack from GGplay will probably be very effective, since Fantasy is only going for Goliath right now. He doesn't have tanks or any kind of other strong unit excuse me, to back up those Goliaths. You see GGplay taking out that turret, picking off another Goliath, just doing as much damage as he can, keeping Fantasy from pushing through. And Fantasy hasn't even taken out the remaining egg that he needs to break there to get out. So GGplay just buying a lot of time for himself to build up whatever he's building up in his bases. I haven't really seen his base in a while here. That egg is going to go down, so Fantasy excuse me, Fantasy should be moving out right now. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. I guess might be waiting for tanks or some other unit. And he's finally sort of moving out here, just reluctantly moving out with those Goliaths. I'm not sure what he's doing, to be honest. He is probably waiting for a larger group. And now GGplay is doing kind of a counterattack here, taking out a little bit, picking off a Marine and a turret. I think just trying to scare Fantasy, but Fantasy is finally going to move out with this troop, I think. A lot of Mutalisks out. So if he can get Zerglings to work with him, I think GGplay will be able to take out this Goliath fleet. GGplay not teching a whole lot here. He's probably devoting himself strictly to Zerglings and Mutalisks. And Fantasy's just sitting around here. I guess he is waiting for something else here. You see he's upgrading something at the shop, maybe trying to get mines or siege mode. Yeah, siege mode is more likely. He's finally getting that tank out. He has 1 tank and like 20 Goliaths here. GGplay just picking off what he can. Picking off another SCV there, I believe, that was building a turret. And it looks like Fantasy is trying to box GGplay in with a kind of a turret contain here. Goliath contain. This won't be too hard for GGplay to break out, though, if he can get a lot of Zerglings together, because there's nothing really on the ground here to deal with Zerglings at all. And you see GGplay is doing a kind of a counterattack here again, being warded off by turrets, though, so Fantasy doing a pretty good job here. And now he is shelling that natural expansion of GGplay. GGplay, I think, still at 2 bases. But, yeah, GGplay's got to defend this with all he's got, I think. Fantasy is moving in. There are Zerglings in there now, so it looks like we're going to see that Zergling and Mutalisk shot, but I'm not sure if GGplay has enough to defend this. GGplay might have to GG soon. A lot of Mutalisk going down, and there's a ton of Goliaths there, so I think Fantasy is probably going to come out with this game, because GGplay, not a very strong economy. You see, hasn't built a whole lot of drones at that natural. Or maybe they were all shelled, I'm not sure. And GGplay does GG. So the first game going to Fantasy, coming out of the gate strong. I'm sure that's going to work well for his confidence level. See, he does look a little bit more confident right now. I think he was planning on doing that kind of proxy factory thing in the middle before he even began the match. So yeah, very excited to see what's going to happen in the second match. Without the advantage of Plasma, though, I'm not sure if Fantasy is going to be able to beat GGplay. GGplay is a very strong Terran player, and now he is powered by Juice. So, okay, moving on to the second match now. One game under Fantasy's belt. See you then.